Hey, and today I'm going to talk about a new way of hiring creative talent. As always, hanging out here in the morning, sipping my tea, and just chatting about the future of work, as well as things that I'm seeing in my day-to-day that might be relevant to you. So if we look at the last really 100 years of industrialization, the biggest shift that happened was first the industrialized process of manufacturing, which was built out here in the US and, of course, across the globe, and then the outsourcing of that process to other countries. So most of the manufacturing in the US moved offshore because of efficiency. People wanted to save costs on labor, they also wanted to outsource manufacturing to a location that specialized in manufacturing, and that was Shenzhen and other locations around China and Asia. And I think something that people aren't really realizing that's about to happen is the shift to outsourcing of creative work. So for a long time, while there was job loss here in the US due to this outsourcing of manufacturing, it was mostly factory work. It was mostly the work that was done earlier, I guess, in the US's history. And now that we were shifting, or in the process of shifting to more of a creative knowledge work, thanks to the internet, it wasn't as impactful on the economy. But I think there's a new type of creative work that is going to be outsourced, and that's something to pay attention to. And what I mean is, it's no longer just manufacturing that is going to be available to people to offshore. It's also creative projects. Photography, design, development. This is already happening, and it's already happening very quickly. But what that means for you is, one, you have access, like you had access to all these factories and production if you were an e-commerce company in China. You have access to a whole suite of new opportunities and tools that was not available to you before. So if you joined e-commerce 10 years ago, the amazing opportunity that you had was suddenly you could produce goods at a cheap cost, outsourced and created in China. You didn't even have to go. You had amazing access to manufacturing. And that's what led to this giant wave of D2C brands, which basically was built off of cheap manufacturing and venture capital. But I think what people don't realize is that today creative work can also be outsourced. Your podcast editing, your design work, your video production, you name it, your development. And I think that's a really good thing. I think that it opens this pool up where you get access to the world's best talent. And I think what's really cool is I believe that everybody's creative. I believe that accountants are creative. I believe that any skill you have really can be a creative skill. And that means that we can really find people around the world who have a creative skill and passion for something that you might not be passionate or skillful in. So if you're building a company and you want to build a website, you want a brand identity, you want new photos for the site, all of these things can be delegated, and you can collaborate with other people from anywhere around the globe who can help you with that. That means you've got more access to different styles, just like manufacturing. More style, more customization, more options, better prices, more specialization. Those 5 things are now available to you in the creative realm. And at Death to Stock, my company that I founded back in 2013, we've continuously produced photo and video content for about 7 years, all around the world, without ever being there. So I've helped produce photo shoots in Australia, in South Korea, without ever me being physically present there, all just through the internet. And we got amazing results. I really love all the artists that we've worked with in the Philippines and all these different countries. And I find that people are really similar all over. And that creativity is there all over too. So the big shift to look out for, both as an artist, as a creative, and also as an entrepreneur, somebody who wants to hire creative talent to help make their vision possible, is to understand that there is now an entire new system of creative talent that you can tap into. So let me give you some suggestions for how to take action on this. The first is, of course, get comfortable using sites like Upwork, TopTail, marketplaces that allow you to find creative talent. So there's a bunch of places where you can, find people. In fact, you could just find them through Instagram and message somebody and say, hey, I really love your work. I'd love to hire you for something. The second thing you want to do is test out different creative talent. So it's likely the case that all creative talent that you find might not be the best fit culturally. Their work might not be as stellar as it appears. So you want to test out as many creatives as you can on small projects that, if they fail, is not the end of the world. So don't jump right to hiring someone for a full brand package. Start off with a short-term project that lets you understand their work very quickly. So the first thing is discovery. Go find people around the web who catch your eye, who you think would be great to work with. The second thing is test them out on a short-term project so that you can see if their skill set is a good match for you and if you enjoy their creative. And then the third is use smart systems to track and manage these different creative projects. And this is all about the process. And I'll do more videos in the future about process. I'll talk more about how do you coordinate with remote creative talent. But you have to have some system where you're checking in, some system where you're creating a brief. That's probably the most important thing to help people understand what the whole project's about. You need to learn the language of communicating and framing a creative problem that you're trying to solve, such that this other person, without ever meeting you, can jump in and give you that deliverable at the end of the project. So I'll talk about that more at length, but for now, the point of this video is really to discuss the shift from manufacturing work to creative work in the global sort of scene, how you can tap into that, and why you should take advantage of it. So as always, if you have comments and questions, would love to chat with you in the comment section. It also gives me more ideas for new videos, and I can't wait to continue discussing this topic. Thanks.